Hi there, this is Jen, and thank you so much for joining me today. Today I am bringing you another A Dare to Be Artsy project, and this time I am using this beautiful pattern paper as well as this stamp set. So the stamp set is called Well Wishes, and it's a sentiment stamp set, and then the paper that I will be using is called Autumn Leaves Collection. It's got some beautiful kind of fall pattern colored pattern paper, and there is a coordinating die that matches with this paper so that you can use the die to cut out the patterns on the paper. So what I've done is I've cut out a whole bunch of leaves from that pattern paper. I've also cut two strips of thin strips to go on each side of the pattern paper. And I'm going to take some of the leaves and just distress the edge of them with a little bit of brown ink. And then I take a few of the leaves as well and use some gold embossing powder on them. So to do this, I'm using my watermark pen. And so for this leaf in particular, it has little circles on it. And so I went ahead and just added a few areas with the embossing pen and then added my gold embossing powder. And I will go ahead and heat set that. And then for the next leaf, it has veins on it. So I'm just taking my pen and following the major veins of the leaf. And then again, I will add some gold embossing powder to that leaf and heat set that. And then for the third leaf that I add gold embossing to, I added a little bit of water. So I just took my spray bottle and spritzed the leaf so it left little water droplets on the pattern paper. And then I took my gold embossing powder and covered that. And the embossing powder sticks to the water. And so all you do then is follow your regular heat embossing and grab your heat tool and heat set that. And it works perfectly. It's an awesome technique to use when you just want a little bit of gold splatter. And then once I have all the leaves done, I am taking a white circle, and this is going to be my base for all of my leaf parts. And so I'm going to go ahead and add some adhesive to that circle piece, and then I'm going to start taking the four of the biggest leaves that I have from that pattern paper and arrange those around the circle. And so I'm trying to cover up as much of that white circle as I can. I don't want any of that white portion remaining. I am just using the circle to try and make my layout fairly even or symmetrical, I guess. And so I'll go ahead and take all of those leaves and adhere those down. And so that's going to be my first layer of leaves. And then I let that dry, and then I just took my fingers, and every leaf part that was kind of sticking off of that circle, I kind of just rolled the paper with my fingers just to get the leaves to stick up so they are not flat. And so when it lays against the card, those leaves will be picked up a little bit, which adds even more dimension. And for all of the layers that go on top of this main layer, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll up the leaf a little bit so that it's not going to lay flat against the paper. And then at the very bottom portion of that leaf, I'm going to add some foam to give it more dimension, or just to make sure that it is sticking away from the card. And so the foam pieces are going to be placed towards the stem of the leaf, so that that portion will be adhered to the layers of leaves, and then the top portion of the leaf will be dimensional and it will stick up away from the card. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding all of my layers. And then for the sentiment piece, I created a smaller circle, and I'm just taking a little bit of antique linen to knock out a little bit of that white so that it matches a little better with the pattern paper and the leaves. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment thank you from that Well Wishes stamp set. And then for my leaf piece, I will go ahead and add some adhesive just to the circle portion of that piece and adhere that to my card where I have put a piece of pattern paper on each side of my card panel. And then I'm going to pop up that thank you sentiment and place that in the middle. And then from here, I'm just going to add a little bit more of the leaves just to fill in some of that space and make it a little fuller. And so I'm adding the glue to the tip or the stem of the leaf in most of these, and then kind of working with my fingers like I've done with the other pieces to get those to curl up a little bit and be dimensional. And then the last things that I do is I am taking a little bit of gold acrylic paint, and I'm going to water that down and use that to splatter my card. I also use some of the Dina Wakley white acrylic spray to splatter my card. I love splatter. I love the character it gives a card, and so I do tend to use it a lot sometimes. I just think the gold looks really pretty sprinkled on the leaves, and then the white kind of is a little bit of a contrast with that. And I have already added this to a white card base, and then to finish off, I add a few little enamel dots in different sizes and colors, and that completes this card. I am super happy with how it turned out, and I hope you like it as well. Don't forget to check out the description below to find out where you can get these beautiful products. As always, if you like this video or found it informative, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And I thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time.